All right, so here's a quick 15-minute video on getting started with a collage. I'm not going to be finishing the collage. I'll just be getting started with on how to set up for a collage. So in Photoshop, what you want to do is that you want to import either your PDF or your Adobe AI lines into Photoshop, right? Um, and you also want to put your material ID in. So in this case, I scaled my material ID to the size of my lines. Now for the lines, want to get rid of this white background so we can actually focus with our lines only. And to do so, I'm going to take my magic wand tool right here, right, magic wand, and I'll be selecting. So I'm going to do Command D or Control D. I'll be turning off contiguous right here. So that way it allows me to select everything that's the color white, right? And I'll basically erase this whole thing. Now, after that, I'll make a second layer. I'll call it background. So double click background, right? And I can make all three of these into the same color, make it red. And for this background, I'll make the background white again. So that way it's in its own separate layer. So in this case, I'll click on my layer, select it, press G for paint bucket. If it's not selected, then select the paint bucket tool right here. G, and I'll click. There you go. Now I can move my layers, my material ID layer underneath layer 1, which is my line layers. So I'm going to call this lines. And then I can name this to material ID. Right, and this is what it'll look like. Now, the best thing about this is that you can use the magic wand tool and select everything of the same color as long as contiguous turned off, right? So in this case, I'll be importing rammed earth texture onto this. So here I have pulled up some textures online of rammed earth. I'll be using this, and I'll just copy the image. I don't have to download it. And from here, I'll create a new layer. I'll call this rammed earth. And with this layer, I'll paste this. So I'm going to deselect for now, just deselect. I'll paste my image of rammed earth. And in this case, I'm kind of lazy. So I can just scale this, stretch this. Now hide this layer, reselect my walls, make sure contiguous is turned off. If it's turned on, then this is what happens, it only selects, oh, never mind, I take that back. But with contiguous turned off, it basically means you're selecting everything that's same color or same identity. If it's turned on, then it's constrained. But in this case, I'm going to turn it off just for now, right? Give you an example. If it's turned on, then I'm selecting only this green box, right? But if it's turned off, then I can select all these green boxes right here. So if contiguous turned off, select all your walls, turn on my rammed earth, right? Now what I can do is that I can create a masking layer. So I'm going to select my rammed earth, check this masking layer, and there you go. Now this is what my project will look like, right? Rammed earth right now. And I can also change the opacity too. So that way it gets lighter. Okay. And what's happening right now is that it's basically, you have your whole picture, but it's being masked right here. So if you want to edit the masking layer, right, all you're doing is that you're basically coloring on this masking layer. So it's either black or white, right? So right now I can just erase it, or I can reveal more of it, right? Just from this masking layer right here. Now the next thing I'll be doing is showing you guys how to make a palette. So I'll create a new layer again, move it to the very top, and I'll call this layer palette. Right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm basically going to take a screenshot. I'm going to use Pantone's right now, so I'll take a screenshot of this right here, or right, yeah, take a screenshot, copy, and I will paste it right here on my palettes. Right? Enlarge it, so I can actually see it. I'll press done. So what I can effectively do is that I can press I for eyedrop right here, eyedrop, and I can select any colors I want to use. Right, so in this case, I'll again create a new layer. I'll call it roof. Roof, I'm gonna call it grade as well. So roof, grade, and yeah, roof and grade. Find my roof and grade on my material ID. So that'll be my blue and my teal, right? And I'll reselect my layers called roof and grade. Take the color that I want to use. I'll take this one. Press B for brush right here. And I'll brush my color in, right? Press Control D or Command D if you're on Mac to deselect your marching ants, right? And then I can just double check what it'll look like. Okay, wrong color. They look too similar. So again, I can select select my materials from material ID, and then pick a different color. Take a look. There you go. It's a little better, right? So you're basically working in layers like this. And let's say you want a different color. So I'll make a new layer called post, right? And I'll select all materials from my material ID on post. Oh, wrong one. W. So I'll select my post right here. And if you're not selecting anything, it may be because you accidentally pressed this button right here. But yeah, I'll select my post, turn on contiguous so I get all my reds, right? And I'll do my green as well right here. And to change your colors, you basically double click on this right here. And you can adjust your colors to whatever you want, or even find one right here. And I'll brush over this, right? Deselect, take a look, make this a little lighter. Or actually, what I can do is that instead of having to change the color, I can actually reduce the opacity. Right. And there we go. Looks a little nicer. Okay. Now I would add background, really easy one, really quick one. So what I'll do is that I'll create a new layer. I'll call it foreground. And I'll use this photo for now. And what I can do is that I can drag this all the way down below my lines. I can actually see my lines. Right. Draw a rectangle like this. Right. And then I'll click on my masking tool right here. And what I'll do is I'll also lower the opacity. And if I want to change anything about this picture, what I can do is that I can click on this layer while this layer is selected. I can click this. Right, I can give it a hue and saturation. I can adjust the brightness and color. Right, in this case, I might saturate just a little bit, like that. Maybe a little brightness. Right, depends. And I can even group them together, so they're in the same file. Right, I can give this file its own color as well. Pick violet. Or actually, maybe yellow. There you go, like that. And let's say you want to change the colors of your lines. You can either remove your lines so you don't see them, or again, you can change the color. So I'll add a hue and saturation. I'll hold Alt, right? So Alt means it only applies to the layer below, right? Like this. And I'll double click. And what I can do is I can change the lightness of this and reduce the saturation, right? And let's say you actually want to make your lines like thicker. What you can do is that you can go to filter, others, and then minimum, right? And what you can do is that you can actually make your lines thick or thin, right? Up to you. Right now, I'll just keep it as it is. And right now, hue and saturation is not working, so I'll just delete that layer. I'll delete this, and then I'll add curves. So I think curves will work best. Again, hold Alt, and then I'll drag this all the way here. So now it's white, right? And again, if I want to make this thicker, my line thicker, I can go to Others, Minimum, and adjust my radius like so. I think 3 for now. Press OK. Right. And let's add a circle background. I don't know, maybe the sky. So I can just add a sky right here. So again, new layer. I'll make this blue for sky. Add sky. Do a bit of compositioning. Right. I can mask this. If I want to continue masking it, what I can do is that I can turn on my material ID, or maybe my lines. I can use my lines as well, right? And I can basically select all this, all that. Or maybe what I can do is that I can just deselect, select everything outside of my box, outside my house, and then do an inverse selection. So I inverse this. So that way now, when I'm masking right here, right, I can color over this. Turn off my layers, and this is my sky, like that. And what I can also do is, again, make like a cute path. So I can click on this layer, throw this in, right? Put this on the very top, right here. Okay. Just take this, so I can take that. If I hold Shift again, I can also add more to my existing marching ants. And then if I press Control or Alt, I can actually delete some of the marching ants, right? And then again, I'll mask this. Cool. Again, I can lower the opacity as well. And then what I can also do, actually, I'll make the opacity of the walls a little thicker. And what I can also do is take this, take the image right here, go to image, and then transform, and then do perspective. Should have done this before I masked this. All right, so I basically backspace this. So you can take image, go to image, or edit, transform, perspective, turn perspective on. And what we can do is that we can grab the corner and push this back on our image, right? And that'll create our perspective, right? Press done. Okay. And then what I can do is that I can crop this door, take this path, and do a polymag ISO. I can actually change this to polymagno ISO. So right here, like that, like this. Right, and then I can mask this. There we go. And now I can also add plants and people. So make a new layer. Call this grass. Grease. I'll make this green. Move this on top of our layer so it actually overlaps. Then move the path on top as well so it's its own layer. Change the opacity just a little. Transform the size. So again, I have to move this on top and on top and right here. Roof again. Maybe the post. Change the opacity just a little bit. Add a hue and saturation. Apply only to this layer. Set the opacity to black. Line this up a little. Might have to work with curves. Right, can make another one. Again, transform. Group for this is there we go. Copy that right here. Oh no, not like that. Zoom out. And yeah, that's just the basics. But again, you can keep playing with this and your collage would definitely get better. But what every collage has in common is composition, proportion. But right now I'm just doing the really basics of like how to use Photoshop to start collaging.